So when you just want to examine your baby, you're just going to come in just a little bit under the pelvis, and you're just noticing. Just again, it's not about, how she's doing or what she's doing. You're just noticing, is there a difference between the right and the left? You can come underneath her knees. Now, a nice healthy baby too, the legs are actually should be up more than they're down laying down. We confuse that laying down should be like us, that we're just like, and I think that's why people like to swaddle, but we're missing this conversation. You're just going to come underneath the one shoulder. And again, I'm just looking for a response. I'm not looking to roll her over with my touch. So now I'm just going to do her right side. And this whole time she's just looking at me. So again, I'm noticing a difference between how she responds lifting the left pelvis to where she is to the right. And again, that's just me. It's just a difference, but we're all different. I can do this to you as well. And I'm just going to go underneath. And again, I'm going to go underneath the right leg. And the reason I go underneath the legs too, maybe there's a leg that's, quote, stiff or wants to startle more. Who knows? So with that, I'm going to get to work. So just like if you're going to diaper your baby, you're just going to put your tops of the fingers in where the latches come over on the diaper, and then underneath I'm just what would be, quote, her sit bones or hip bones, but again, it's just, I'm doing the rim of the diaper, so it's a really easy baby anatomy. You do not need to know anatomy to do all of this. And all I'm doing right now is just a light rocking her back and forth. Now I'm going to adjust myself because she's trying really hard because she really wants to look at me. So I'm going to come in over so she's not straining her eyes. So same thing, I'm just around the rim of her diaper. I know.
She really likes you.
Don't be so surprised. Would you, I know you just think I'm just the cat's meow, but would you like to hold on to something? It's up to you if you do or not. And again, at this age, they're just as happy moving. It really isn't about the toy. The toy's more us stuff. And again, she doesn't have purposeful hand grab, but once she grabs onto something right now, she'll latch pretty good, or she should. And I'm just going back and forth. Now, notice I'm not going for a stretch. One of the things that they try and do with babies is they'll stretch the legs. If you notice, she actually is happiest when they're coming in like this. So what you can do with that is you bring your legs up. I know. And you're just going to let her drop. And bring them up and drop. I know. Up and drop. Now you're doing it for me? Okay, good. You do it then. Oh, yes. And that's just a precursor of the backgrounding, the feet going into the mouth, learning how to fall. Learning how to fall is actually a very big milestone. When kids don't crawl, they don't learn how to fall. Yes, you're so big. You are? You're that big? And now I'm just going to go back, and it's just a little twist. And now I'm going to just come underneath her. And just as if you were going to go lift her, but I'm not going to lift her all the way. I'm bringing the head up. Oh, what's that? Are the turquoise ones more appealing? Ooh. She fussed for 3 seconds, and she still might a little bit. That's okay, because she's got to. This is part of learning how to transition. You can spoil a baby all you want. You're not going to over spoil them, but just see if she would like something different. So I'm going to bring her back down. So I'm not even going to put her down all the way. I'm just going to go back to where I was at. And all I'm just doing is seeing, just letting her practice lifting her head. And I'm just gonna come in here and very softly just touch her chest, because what happens is that the chest needs to be on the soft side to bring the head up. All I'm doing really is going for a ride. I'm just going for a ride on the system. I'm just playing around. Now, for some reason, she seems to be a bit happier lying down than with the back and that little bit of a bend. So if that's the case, later on she's going to have a problem, or could have a problem, going to sitting up, because if she's already learning that that's uncomfortable for her, for whatever reason, but again,
She arches her back a lot.
okay. So
When she's nursing and things, she'll just go like that and start flailing.
right. See, that alone, those concerns would generate into having problems sitting up. So the way to go around that, now, you just like the noise more than anything. Look at you. Did that work? So with the noise like that, I'm going to just come underneath her shoulder. And notice too, she's a baby. I'm going with her. Again, I don't have a plan in the sense that I'm going to, now I could turn around and edit and make it look all pretty doing it just in stages. But you're going with her, and that's okay. So see, you ready? There we go. See how I'm letting her go to her side? And I'm just hanging out here on the side. This is a really important milestone of just learning how to breathe on my side, to hold my head on the side, because if you can't do side, you're not going to do tummy, you're not going to do sitting up, because you can't do any of those functions just talked about without going to your side first. And this is where seniors start having issues, because they can't go to their side either, and then they can't get in and out of the car. Again, I'm not speeding up anything, but what I can start doing is just a little bit of back and forth. It's not a rocking. I'm really just using the weight of my hand and just moving the child to give variation on how they are on their side. And if you're not sure about this being one-handed or not, someone else, daddy or whatever, or little sister, can play with the beads while you go in and just do two-handed on the pelvis. I know, but the beads are obviously more important than me, correct? Now's her eyes just looked up. So as her eyes start to look up, because that's what brings tummy time. It's actually an object. Yeah, if you can bring it right over there, there you go. See the difference in the chest cavity, just bringing the eyes up there? Don't go too far away. She can still only see about a good foot away. And at this point, I can just come underneath here. And again, I'm just bringing her on her elbow. Now, if she was unsure with that, another thing you can just do right here, all I'm doing again is just supporting the head. Well, for some reason, I guess you don't like your head touched. Maybe is that it? Might go with the head she's not.
She's an opinionated baby. The one grandpa rubs her head every time and makes her cry. The other one plays with her feet every time and makes her cry.
No, you shouldn't be crying this much as a little one. No. Now visually, see what I just did with her? She's coming up, and coming to the other side. Now she does not have to stay with it all the time, but there she is, she's going back looking for it. Again, look at how slow I'm going. So that's just a real gentle way of just working with the vision. Now you can do it more towards the actual midline of the eyes, the head. Now she loses it a little bit trying to look up, but that's okay. So that was a little bit more difficult. You see the difference? And that's okay. Do you think so? But there, she's got it. Now this would be the time to watch too. Do you see like the strain of this? Is one eye coming in? Does she again? Does she have a get to back here? And if the child can't cross it's the midline, the center of the body. But just that little bit, she's not learning how to play the game in a sense, and she's getting much better at. Now at this stage, she actually has to be proficient at back bends, which she's not yet because she's just, she's less than 3 months old. What, 2.5? So, see, she's trying to follow up there, so she knows it's kind of up in her visual, but she's not doing baby back bends yet. She'd actually have to be where the head was coming back to look at. And again, that's not where she's at developmentally.
She'll do it if she's up, but not if she's down. Like if you're holding her, she'll lean her head so far back to look at things.
As I'm lifting up with her right shoulder, and notice I have it down all the way to the elbow, she's completely supported. I'm just, again, very softly just touching into her chest. The fingers are better than the pacifier. They do work. Do you like it back? So even if I'm holding the pacifier, whoops. Yeah. I can do the same thing. Hold the pacifier. And just rotate the chest. And notice too, it's very important, and she's doing really well with it, she's just as content as the head on the right or the left. And now I can do this.
That's new since the last time you saw her, though.
What?
That's new since the last time you saw her.
Right, that you can do both.
Intently, yeah.
It is harder to suck when you're in that position. That's my fault.
She's a little congested, too.
What?
She's a little congested.
Oh.
Makes sucking a little harder.
Oh yeah, there you can hear it on this side. So here I'm just riding the spine. And I'm doing that fall again. When I'm done touching the spine, notice how I'm just gonna let her come back. Lifting and come back. This is a really important developmental movement because again, they're learning how to fall. They're learning where they are in space. Oh, I'm just going an inch and I'm not gonna fall off the bed. And that really calms down any kind of startle reflexes that you're getting off your infant. That's a purpose that they want to do with swaddling a child, but what they're doing is actually preventing that purposeful learning to happen. So when she, like you said, she's sleeping through the night now, because this isn't becoming like, and she's going into all four appendages just going out to protect herself. And you can just do this at your leisure on each side, just because I'm only doing one side. If I only do one side right now and then later on she gets the other side. And you notice too, any of the stuff that I'm doing, you can do it while you're watching TV. You can do this when you're feeding her. You can, it doesn't always have to be, therapy time lying on the table. Now I have her completely on her side, and I'm really just doing the same thing again, just touching. I don't touch directly on the spine, I'm touching just to the side of the spine, which is up. So I never touch the actual backbone, because you want that rotation of the spine to happen. Good. Now, is she babbling more since her lesson on Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all
More
because
happy babbling.
Yeah. But that more the pelvis frees up, the more you're going to hear that da 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 da.
She made a lot of noises before, but they weren't that happy.
In your baby's arm, same thing, the spine is here. I don't work on the spine itself. So she's on this side of me, so I'm going to work on her left. And it's the same thing. I'm just going in and a touch and let go. It's I say it all the time, it's like putting crust on a pie. It's just that you don't want to rip the dough, but you're just patting the dough. And you're just bringing awareness to this part of her spine. Oh, I know. You're working very hard to bring that head up. Now what she's doing here is a pre-crawl. So I'm going to go with it. So I've changed what I was doing. I'm going underneath her foot, letting her bend that knee up. And then as she brings it back out, letting her foot to come out. And that was an important thing too, as I lifted her, as she brings her knees up. And then you can do the same thing here. I'm just holding and rotating her bum, so I rotate the bum up and bring her knee up. And see how that's a pre-crawl?
Mm-hmm.
And if she plays with it, let her play with it. It's not about like trying to force her leg. Get okay all good. So this one is just very similar to what I was doing before with the two-hand on the pelvis. Is I'm just slowly rotating her chest and her hip joint at the same time. Because believe it or not, when that hip joint, if it's restricted or it can't rotate, again, that's that crawl of rolling over and crawling. So I can do it this way too, but what I don't like to do is restrict the leg. Babies, again, like to have nice springy legs. So I can come in this way and rotate from the knee to the hip. And I'll do it this way so you can see better on the camera. You can still rotate this way. It'll be a little bit harder because her head's facing this way. So it's more of a complex twist. So what you can do is go towards the table. So I'm taking the knee. So again, it's like a windshield wiper. And with the hip joint, and I'm just rotating the leg towards the table. I'm not looking for 30 minutes of brilliance. 3 minutes, 30 seconds of a child getting it is more important than it being, okay, great, do it again, do it again. As you can see, as she moves, I move with her. So now this is something I did on Monday, is now that the hip is rotating, I'm taking just the heel very lightly and rotating the whole foot with it. You cannot lay on your back and keep your feet rigid and sit up. You could do it eventually because you have the muscle and the cognitive skills, but a baby, again, a baby doesn't do anything that's difficult or causes pain. So not that I'm trying to make her that she's not upset whatsoever. I mean, babies have to learn how to fuss and get out of it. That's part of growing up.
She really likes music though.
But it's okay to tantrum, you know. If I hit you, you have a right to be mad at me, but it's how you handle that anger, and that develops from just a young age. See how I'm rotating the foot and the hip.
When she gets really mad, she'll try and claw at you.
Oh yeah.
She won't do it to herself, but she'll do it to you.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's a no. Like, do not claw at me. That's not nice.
And now with all of that, just go back and just see if the original movements, if, you know, that they're different. But see with all of this how much better her whole body is better at counterbalancing all those movements. See how the chest is twisting?
She felt like holding Jello when I got her out of the car seat on Monday.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, you're never this just...
Well, that's what a baby should be, is in a neutral position to react to stimuli, not, you know, again, where they're already a side dominant. And same thing, are you going to get mad when you feel like Jello, or are you going to get mad when you're tense?
Right.
Yeah, no difference to you, to the baby. You get out of the jacuzzi and all that, or after, you know, massage, you're like, oh, God. She's a great example of that.
Where's the continuous play on that?
I'm not just lifting the head here. What I'm doing is lightly pressing down in the chest cavity. And the more you can press down in the chest cavity, and when I say that, I don't mean more strength, that the more you can work with it, the head can come up. Notice I'm not messing with her head. So she would know the difference right now if I was a car seat or a high chair or... My hands are full, so... Someone's gonna be the turtle button pusher. So see, as she's looking, I'm just going with her. I'm not changing any kind of pressure with how I'm holding the back of the head. I'm really just concentrating on the pacifier, and as she moves her head around, I'm going with her. See right there, she's arching back like you say. And now I'm bringing her forward. There she goes. But I'm going forward when she goes forward. But again, if you can't get this movement in a baby, sitting up is really going to be a bear. Yeah, that's Ariana and the cameras. Thank you. And notice too if she gets a little quicker at it or doesn't, or if it's, she tends to say if a child were to fix in one place. And what's happening too, just tap her. As her feet go out, then the head comes up. So she's slowly learning almost, see, there, right there. As the feet go, I'm going with the head. Yeah, you coughed, it's okay. You just coughed. That's another thing that gets the kids up is that spring, that load, because it's eventually will bring her, she's too young to bring her up in sitting, but that the feet will kick out and the body will roll up.
Are you saying I shouldn't hold her in a sitting position, or she can't sit by herself?
She can't go into sitting by herself.
Oh.
You're putting in a car seat, she's gonna sit in your lap, it's okay.
Well, no, I mean, like, I'll just hold her hips and she can just sit and bob.
It's okay, but she's still on the young side.
Yeah.
She's not learning from it, put it that way. She's
Yeah.
only 2.5.
No, she just likes to look around. And
But
not
see,
be
what you're
touched.
doing here is teaching her how to look around as well.
Yeah.
Basically, if they're not screaming, they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing here is showing that
Sometimes when
she's
screaming, she's fine.
she's
Yeah.
capable of looking around on her own.
Help me, mommy, save me. Come over here, baby.
And see again here, she can twist, breathe, hold her head up. It's not life-threatening. Oh, goodness. It's okay. So now that she's got this game and she's pretty calm with it, I'm actually using the pacifier to now rotate her head.
Okay.
And people think that this deals with the neck muscles, which it will affect. But what you're working with is a rotation through the chest cavity and the pelvis.